Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Of course, we are coming to you from inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Heritage Hill coming to you on 3149 Sweet Road out in Pompey in the rolling hills of central and upstate New York. Beautiful landscape out in Pompey. I was there over the weekend for some Sunday brunch. For the first time ever, I got to pet and feed donkeys, which was unique and interesting, and had a good time with that. So definitely want to appreciate Dan Palladino and Heritage Hill. Of course, that expands to their newest location at Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, New York. And with so many things that they are creating there on the farm as well as their brewery, they bring this to you local right here in our community. And I appreciate everybody that goes out there and supports local and a fantastic team at Heritage Hill. With that being said, inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', hour number one, Dyshawn Davis coming off of a birthday celebration. So we're going to be talking with Dyshawn in just a moment here from New Jersey, Syracuse NFL and CFL alum, going back to his time at Syracuse, his journey through his football career, as well as what he's up to now and how he sees Syracuse this season. And then we'll get into hour number two, as we always do on a Tuesday, in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University. I will be joined today in a Bearcat Breakroom by Annette Acuff, the head cross-country coach and assistant track and field coach, on the heels of Binghamton Bearcats alum Emily Mackay advancing to the 2024 Paris Olympics. Very excited to have Annette on the show to speak on that. And we'll round out the show on Tuesday, as we always do, with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's, which, as of yesterday, is now open Mondays. Open Tuesday through Sunday for so many years. Now they're open 7 days a week, lunch, dinner, and drinks. Of course, drink responsibly as always. So, with that being said, it is my honor and my privilege to welcome my first guest of today's show, Dyshawn Davis, picture in picture. Dyshawn and I go way, way back, and I have had the honor and privilege. Back in the day when Dyshawn was at Syracuse, we had the opportunity of having more interviews. There wasn't like one, and I'm hoping Fran opens this up a little bit more, but there wasn't like one opportunity a week, and you can only talk to two people. So I got to spend a lot of time with Dyshawn, getting to know him, and just seeing him grow on and off the field over the years. And Dyshawn, well, I welcome you to the show today. I don't think I've ever said this to you. You, of all the people that I've covered at Syracuse for so many years, and over a decade after coming back home and starting my business, I am hard-pressed to find, of any student athlete at Syracuse, somebody who I saw their growth so clearly over a span of time between when you started and when you got your degree. And it was really, really, for me, awesome to see, because you were one of the people that's really easy to root for. So when I say welcome, I also wanted to say that to you today.
Oh, man, thank you, man. Appreciate that, man. I mean a lot to me.
So, and I want to go back to that time. What did Syracuse, in your opinion, on and off the field, what did that do for you? Choosing Syracuse did what?
Oh, man. It was my way out. You know, I'm originally, from Camden, New Jersey. My parents were really young when they had me. I'm the first one in my family to get a scholarship, attend a university, graduate with a degree. So I always had a humble mindset, and I always was appreciative, and I always was a hard worker. So Syracuse was like one of my only offers in high school, like my only one D1 offers. I ended up going to prep school and picking up I think 6 more, but like Syracuse were like one of the first schools that believed in me, and they gave me an offer. And like when they gave me an offer, I just was like, I just fell in love with it. So fell in love with the school, and I didn't get my SAT score at first, so I had to go to Milford Academy. Man, like they was just like, we're gonna send you to Milford, go there for a semester, get your SAT score. It'll plan out perfect. You can come in this spring, be able to play spring ball, so you'll have an advantage in front of the class coming in the fall. You'll have a step ahead. So once I got there. I was just like, there was no turning back. And then I ended up starting as a true freshman, playing a position I never played before. So once once they gave me, the opportunity to play football and, to just come up there to make a name for myself, it was no turning back.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, Syracuse reached out to you early, and other teams or other schools came along, but Syracuse was first to, really see that in you and believe in you, and like you said, stick with you when you had to get your SAT score up and whatnot. What did they? I mean, does that hold? Because I talk to student athletes all the time about how much weight it holds, that first offer. When Syracuse comes to you and says, "We see something," and then other schools are like, "Oh, okay, well, if they see it, we see it too." Does it matter more to you personally when you look back on it that Syracuse believed in you before the other schools, because they essentially saw Syracuse's reaction to you and then they reacted, but Syracuse was the one to react initially? Did that hold a lot of weight?
Yeah, it definitely holded a lot of weight because my recruiting process was a little different. Like I now the recruiting process, I feel like is a little easier. You could get offers, you could put your film out there on Twitter. There's all these like recruiting databases that you could put your film out there and get it to coaches.
Yeah.
Whether like back in the day you had to like kind of like email you had to actually like make a highlight film yourself from like the tape recorder. Like remember you had to convert it the tape to disc
Yeah.
to DVD, cut the film out. You couldn't do it on the phone. It was a lot different. And then you had to send it out to the coaches. And then when you send it out to the coaches say, "All right, we like you. Come up to a camp. We have a camp." And then you go to camp and get evaluated and stuff like that. So that's kind of like how my journey went. So I was, emailing coaches, sending my film out, and then I would go. Like I went to Villanova camp, I went to Temple camp, I went to Rutgers camp, I went to like all the big D1 school colleges in my area,
Yeah.
and I attended their camp. And then I traveled to Syracuse and attended Syracuse camp. And Syracuse that summer of my junior year, that was like the last camp that I went to. And I did well at every camp. And then, Syracuse was like the one college that was just like, yo, right after the camp, they was just like, yo, we gonna offer you. Like, we want you here. Like, we want you. You're one of the players that we want part of our recruiting class. We're gonna give you an offer. We just need you to do a couple things and we're gonna give you an offer. So they said it, and then a couple weeks later, they came through with an offer. So, once they did that, then I did my official visit with my family and everything. I was just like, you know what? This just feels like home. It just feels right.
And like you said, with Syracuse and the offer that they gave you, and pretty immediately seeing something in you and wanting to have you come to Syracuse, you had made mention of the fact that your parents had you when they were young, and you being the first to go to college and to go get a degree. That for you, that personal journey for you is not just a personal journey, it's a family journey, right?
Right.
Because being the first one to do it, being the torchbearer, what did that do for your family? Were there conversations afterward? Were there, people in your family saying, well, if you can do it, I can do it? Did you feel like it had a ripple effect in a positive way?
Absolutely. And it didn't just start like, Syracuse. Syracuse was kind of like the icing on the cake, especially like playing on TV and my family watching me on TV and actually being like a star player for Syracuse, like being the face of the football team during those times I played was just like something for my family to talk about, brag about, look forward to. It gave them an outlet, you know. It gave them hope, and it it created something in the family like where all my little cousins, um, you know, they're into playing football and they like, I want to be like Dyshawn and stuff like that. And also have a cousin who, I helped out. along the way as well. And he's like, one of the star players in the NFL now, and that's Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick is, my first cousin,
Yeah.
and he's 2 years younger than me, and he watched me, you know, be the first one. And he was kind of like the second generation, like the second, not the second generation, but like, the second person to do it. So, then we gonna have, you know, his little brothers and so forth coming up. So definitely something that I'm proud of. Um, definitely something that I'm proud of, sure.
Here with Dyshawn Davis of Syracuse NFL and CFL history here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Hassan Reddick, like you said, family. We know that this man, to a lot of people, is extremely important, right, in the NFL. And
Mm-hmm.
I just pulled one of his, and I'm gonna have to. I think I know where it is, but I might have to sneak and find that here in the studio because I collect cards and I just got a really nice Hassan Reddick card that I pulled from one of the box. Actually, I know exactly where it is. So that I pulled from here, but I want to go a little bit deeper into that. Like you said, your first cousins. Bring me into what do we not know about Hassan Reddick? What can you tell us about like who he is, the man? Because we see the plays, we see those moments and the different things that he does, and watch him on Sundays and whatnot. But who is he, the man?
The man, Hassan is an amazing person, uh, a great person. He just, as far as on it, he just felt like he just deserved what he deserved. And, he's in person, that's, my little cousin, I love him to death. And, watching him go out there and make sacks and, be one of the top NFL pass rushers is like, that's the feeling that like, he's my favorite player, you know, he's my favorite player. And, I get to live through him, you know what I mean? Like, so like, it's amazing.
And you talked about how the NFL is more than just football, right? There's politics. You had time in the NFL as well. What did you learn about it? Because some guys, kind of go in and they see what the NFL is beyond football, and it makes them not want to play. Some guys kind of go, hey, you know what? I'll play for a few years. I'll get through it. Some guys buck the trend and whatnot. How did you experience the NFL?
I mean, the NFL, my career was short in the NFL because of the politics side of it. There's a lot of things that I wasn't in control of that kind of like dictated my career. Um, like no ifs, ands, or buts about if I was good enough. I feel like I still granted an opportunity to, play at a position that I could be successful at. Um, who knows? Who knows how my career would have went. But um, what I learned about it is that you know, um, it's like, can I explain it? It's like the NFL is so much money involved in it. It's just like is don't necessarily matter about if this player is better or not. It's about what player has the stain and name, the politic side behind his name to play. So it don't necessarily matter about if this player is better. It don't matter about that. It's just if he's drafted and if he's a drafted player that the organization invested in, he's a player that's going that they're gonna live with and die with. That's just the nature of the business. And then if you're like undrafted, if you're an undrafted player, at that point it's just like a matter of timing, a numbers game,
Yeah.
an injury or two. You know, if your style of play fit the system, it's just a whole bunch of things play into it. It's not just You get signed to a team, you work hard, you go out, you go in there, you compete. If you're the best player, you play. It don't work like that. No.
Yeah, and like you said, there's that element to it, right? If it's a high draft pick, especially, they feel like you spend money on that, you spend time, you spend such a high pick on that. The front office wants to look like they're right. If you're an undrafted free agent, I mean, you could be working 10 times as hard as somebody else, but ultimately you may not get that same opportunity because there's not a ton invested in you. But we look back at your time with the Washington Redskins, who became the Washington football team, who are now the Washington Commanders. Back when you played for them, they were the Skins, and you had a career high 71 tackles in a season, 6 tackles for a loss, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 pass deflections. I would think, based on some of those numbers there, all those numbers there, Dyshawn, I think that's NFL worthy. I think 70 tackles in a season, and some guys don't get 1 forced fumble their entire NFL career. You had 3 in a season, so I think your
Mm-hmm.
numbers speak for themselves, just like they did at Syracuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I always been a player that's just like, if you give me an opportunity to just go out there and compete, that's something that I love to do. Like, I love to compete at a high level. That's why, I was able to have a career, for 7 years, an NFL a professional football career for 7 years. So that's something that I love to do, and I just feel like if I'm in that environment where I can do that, then I'm gonna thrive. But if I'm not given those opportunities, then that's out of my control. So over a while as a player, especially if you're like good at your craft, like you spend time in perfecting your craft, you love what you do, you eat, sleep, and do all the things right, and when it's time for you to perform, you do everything right, but it's out of your control to like it's out of your control um to attain your goals for the work that you put in. So over time that take a mental toll on you, man. It's like, do I want to even do this anymore? And then for me, it was like, all right, like football is just a piece of me. It's just that's just a small piece of me, and I knew that. I know that. Like I know that I'm an impactful person in the world. So not just being impactful on the field. So I, I just made a decision to just retire at what, 28, 29, because I was just that tired of that mental part of that mental part of it, things being out of my control. It's a thing where like you get hurt, if you get hurt or you don't perform well, you know things like that. But as far as just like, if I'm coming into work every day and I'm the fastest linebacker on film, and I'm the most physical linebacker on film, or the most one of the top players on the team, and it's on film, and you can't deny that. And it's, I mean, and you're blatantly denying it. It's just like that. Over time, that takes a mental toll on you. You're just like, no, it's like your value as a person. If you feel like you're not valued, you're gonna leave. So that's what it was.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, what's in your control, and a lot of people struggle with this. I've struggled with it. Is that the only thing in your control is you, your
Right.
actions, your words, literally all the control you have in the world. You don't have anything beyond that. So when you do what you're supposed to do, when you carry yourself well, when you're not a team problem, when you're not going out and doing stupid stuff, when the front office isn't getting a phone call saying you got to pick up Dyshawn downtown, da 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 da. So
Right.
when you're good off the field, when you do the things you're supposed to do, when you're in the film room, when you're in the weight room, when you're putting on tape, like you said, what you need to put on tape, when everything within your control, you feel like I can sleep at night, I did the best I could, and then you still don't get that opportunity. You still get pushed down the depth chart. When you said it was a mental toll, how did you get through it? How did you handle looking at a franchise, looking at the NFL and saying, I've done what you asked me to do and I'm still not getting what I want. How did you handle that?
Um, I didn't handle it too well, especially being young and like the NFL was my childhood dream. So like making it to the NFL was uh it was an amazing feeling. Like it was just like, damn, like I did it. Like I did it. You know, like I'm from Camden, New Jersey. Like I made it through so much, and I still made it here. So and you got your family, they super happy for you. And then when you get there, you practice with the team, and then mind you, like when I was there, like I was playing defensive end. I never ever played defensive end ever. Like I never put my hand in the dirt one time in my career at Syracuse.
Yeah.
Like I was a hybrid player. Like I rushed the passer. I did a bunch of other different things other than just like I never put my hand in the dirt. So you got me putting my hand in the dirt and I'm competing against, you know, the top of the line, you know, pass protectors, like, pass protectors that been doing it their whole lives. So I knew like the chances of me making that team, especially being an undrafted free agent out of position, was slim. So like over time, it was taking a mental toll on me, and then it was a point where like I was just like, you know what, like I know I'm playing defensive end and I'm not a defensive end. Like I'm a hybrid player. Like I need to be covering running backs out the backfield, blitzing off the edge, dropping in coverage.
Yeah.
Doing my style of play things to show the team that, this is what Dyshawn Davis is good at. This is what I can bring you. This is like how I can help the team. I can't help your team setting the edge against Trent Williams and Brandon Sheriff. Like I can't do that. Those guys are like six. They're tight, like just physical science. That's not how I'm built. It's not how I'm made. So I just knew it was a matter of time before like those numbers. Before I kept meeting the curve, that cut game, So I made it past the last cut, and then, it was, I could have, made the team if I had a chance to develop at that position. I'm so versatile. If they would have gave me a full year to like, get some weight on me,
Yeah.
get a pass rush trainer, learn. Because I can blitz. I'm a natural pass rusher, but learning the angles of the game that way is a little different. Requires, to perfect a new craft, perfect a new, style. And I would have been able to adjust and do that because of my versatility and my athletic ability, but I didn't have the time to. So when I got released from Washington, I was depressed, man. I was depressed for a minute, and I was depressed for like a couple months. I say like 5 or 6 months, man. I just went really dark, and due to the fact that I had resources and my time at Syracuse, I came back up to Syracuse, man. Came back up to Syracuse, started working out with the team, working out with Coach Hicks, and I bounced back, man. Then as soon as I bounced back, uh, I got a workout from the Raiders. You know, they didn't sign me, but right after that, I got signed to the CFL, and then spent 7 years in the CFL. So I was able to bounce back, but yeah, man, I went through a little depression stage, and that's kind of like normal, especially being a young player. That's what I kind of like when I'm training guys now. I kind of like you know um share that experience with them where they don't allow football to become their identity. Because when you allow football to become your identity, it it push you. You rely on that so much. When that's taken away from you, you ain't got nowhere else to turn. You know, you got these athletes. Football has been a part of their lives their whole lives, right? When they was kids, they was a star athlete. They was this. When you make it to the NFL, then it's just like boom, that's taken away. Who are you? without this football, without that, that football tag attached to your name, who are you? You still are a person. You still are impactful, and you because you can't play football forever. And I'm kind of happy it was taken away from me early, because it allowed me to open my mind and see, like, all right, adversity hits. What can you do? What you gonna do? So I went through my moment, but I was able to, surprise past that, and keep going, and still go out there and pursue my career. The CFL is a lot different than the NFL, but I had a successful CFL career, and I was blessed to live over Canada, travel all over Canada, see the world over there, and experience that. So that was a blessing for me as well.
And I appreciate you sharing that. I'm sad that you went through it, but at the same time, you and I both know that without adversity, we don't become who we're supposed to be. So,
Right.
Dyshawn Davis, we got more coming up. We're going to talk about the CFL as well as Coach Hicks and more right after this fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. And Dyshawn knows something, and he doesn't know my thoughts on this right now, but I'm about to tell you my thoughts before we step aside in the Heritage Hill Studios. Anybody, you can call it a fisherman's cap, you can call it a bucket hat, but the real ones wear those hats. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Okay, say that. So you know the vibes, man. You know the vibes. I've always got the bucket hat, and I got the ball head too. So I got a perfect bucket hat head.
That's the thing. If you got a bald head or you shave it low, you got the bucket hat. But you, Rob Drummond, my buddy Isaac Elford, and Isaac, and his connection to the United States military, he came back from an Army trip that he had, and he comes into one of the games that we were covering. He puts his hat down on the table, and I looked at him. He goes, "One for you, one for me," and they're official U.S. Army bucket hats, which was awesome.
Oh, I know them shit probably so nice.
Yeah.
Did they have badges on them? Did they have badges and patches on them?
They have the U.S. Army patch thing.
Yep. I love the patches on the hat, man.
Yeah, so I mean, I can honestly say, because growing up as a kid, here I am out here wearing this hat, and people are like, me and one other person, and now I got a family of people wearing those hats. I love it.
Yeah.
So, long live the bucket hat. We'll be back after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Stay with us, Dyshawn Davis. More coming up after the break. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the tastes of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Dyshawn, here it is, man. There it is.
Okay, I see. I got a Syracuse bucket hat like that as well.
Okay, yeah. So this
like
one,
the Army one. I got the Army fatigue one. We had them when we used to when we went to Fort Drum.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I miss those Fort Drum days. Now I lied here, and my apologies. This one does not have a patch. It says Go Army, and it's got the U.S. Army here. But this is the official U.S. Army bucket hat. So
yeah, that's the official. They got the net on the back of it. Is that a net on the back of it? Oh, okay. Oh, no, they got the string on it. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Yeah, that's the official. That's the official one right there.
Yeah, the GoArmy.com and all that stuff. So you and I, a lot of things to get into here, and I'm going to jump into them as quick as I can. I did want to show you this, though. This is my Stars refractor of Hassan Reddick that I told you.
Nice. Nice.
So happy to bring that in. You were talking about the CFL, and you played for the Saskatchewan Roughriders for a little while, played for the BC Lions the majority of your career in the CFL. What did you take away from the CFL? I know the game is different. I know some things are different, but what were your takeaways? And, you said it was your dream to be a professional football player. You got to do that in the NFL. You got to continue that in the CFL. What can you say about your CFL experience?
I mean, my CFL experience was amazing. I got to travel. I got to get to travel all across Canada, to every province from, Winnipeg, Ottawa, Calgary, Ontario, Toronto, Montreal, the whole Canada. I was traveling over the whole Canada, and then which really was a dope experience. When I was, playing for BC Lions, I stayed over there for like 2 years because during the off season, the club offers players to, they have like 5 different off season programs where you can present in schools. They have like, they have a program called, it's like innocent bystander, where you talk about like violence against women, where you're like being more than a bystander. They got another one where you're teaching kids about like conserving energy in the environment,
Yeah.
setting goals, making good choices, how they can positively or negatively affect your life. So long story short, I stayed over there, and the club pays you, so they fly you all over the province of BC,
Yeah.
British Columbia. They fly you all over. So like we went to Victoria Island, um, like I can't even explain it. Like we went to like little islands where like there's just like natives there, and it's their own island. There's only one way in, one way out. Maybe you could take a ferry or fly in.
Yeah.
Talk to kids, and it was just like a culture shock to me because I got to see a side of the world that I never seen before. Um, and I was living in like the California of Canada. Like it was like the people are different. It's mountains, it's water. Uh, it was amazing, man. Like it was amazing. I didn't get paid as much like as the NFL, but like far as playing against like very good talent, world class talent, meeting good people, not just like football players, but like regular day people over there. And then it's so crazy because um me and Keon end up playing for BC together, living in BC together as roommates
Yeah.
for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing how like football take you so far in the world and connect you back together with like people.
And like you said, Keon Lynn, who's long been on Wake Up Call here as well. What was it like rooming with Keon? Like, bring me into a day of Keon and Dyshawn together. I want to know food, music, who's leaving the clothes
Okay.
on the floor. I
All
want to.
right.
I want to. I want
So
paint me. I want a picture painted here.
all right. So it's kind of like college all over again, because me and Keon were like actually like brothers in college. Like we would hang out in college all the time.
Yeah.
So when he got to BC, it was like we was just like right back together, like we never left each other. So like practice is usually like in the morning. Meetings are like before 8 o'clock, um, before 8:30. So we kind of wake up. Um, we were living like maybe I want to say like maybe like a 12 to 15-minute walk away from the practice facility.
Okay.
So we would wake up and go to A&W. A&W is like a fast restaurant in Canada, but the fast restaurants in Canada are a lot different than the States. Like they got like the food is way more healthier and they got way more healthier choices. And it's like uh that was just like our routine, like that was like our breakfast routine. So we'd wake up in the morning, uh you know we stayed on like we stayed in a nice we stayed in like a high rise like on the 40th floor, so like we could oversee the whole city over the clouds. It was a beautiful view. So and then it's like we could see the whole, we had like a glass window, we could see the whole view. It was nice. So we would go to practice, go to A&W, get breakfast, go to our meetings, have practices from like um let's say 11 to, yeah, let's say like 10:30 to like 12, 12:30, maybe even shorter. But we go in the building at like, get to the building at like 8:15, before 8 o'clock. We out of the building before 1:30. If you longer in there 1:30, that's because you're there by choice. You're probably doing a workout, doing this, doing that, but we're out of the building at 1.
Yeah.
After we leave at 1:30, we go get something to eat again. Um, we usually like to go to this reggae cafe. It's called the Reggae Cafe. It's like Jamaican food.
Okay.
Get some Jamaican food. Go get some Jamaican food.
Yeah.
I usually get like oxtails. Keon allergic to chicken, so he always get like some type of goat beef or oxtail or something like that. Um, go back to the crib, watch practice, watch the film, like put it on the TV. We'll sit down, listen to music or whatever, watch the film. We'll watch the film for like 3 hours, just watch individual drills, one-on-ones. We'll watch everything.
Yeah.
Often we'll watch, that would be our routine. We'll watch film and then, he'll go in his room, I'll go in my room, play the game, listen to music. If that's the weekday, weekend, go out to eat, you know, go to the city. We always see the thing about Canada, especially where we was, BC. Actually, Keon is still over there. Keon didn't even leave. Keon is actually acting over there now, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So we always like go in the city because the city is always something to do in the city, and we will always find something to do. So like we would catch the train, and like public transportation, that's like everyday life for everybody over there. Like
Yeah.
public transportation could get you anywhere you want, so conveniently. So we would catch the train to downtown Vancouver, and we would just we would just go out to eat at different places, walk around, get or rent bikes, ride bikes around the park. Like we just was basically like touring the city and finding things to do and just learning about the city. And we would just meet new people. One time we actually like ended up on the scene of Deadpool. Like like they was like we was walking in the city and they was just like, hold up, stop, action. Like it was like crazy. And it was like I was like, whoa, we on the scene, like, it was like, yeah, and then that's how he really ended up acting. We just cause they don't really have like black African Americans over in Vancouver, So like we kinda like stick out, you know? We kinda like stick out. So like especially in the movie scene type thing,
Yeah.
they actors, black actors, they want black actors. It's not as it's not like how it is over here. Like, over there it's rare, and they need them, you know? So yeah, but that was kind of like our days there, man. Our days was fun. Uh yeah, we had a blast, man. Like I said, Keon is still there, so like I'm I'm gonna take a trip there soon. Like go there, visit him. We tour the city. Vancouver is a city that we like both love. You know.
Well, no, and you painting that picture, like everything that you were saying, I'm sitting here like, man, I want to know more. I want to know more. And it's like I love Marvel stuff, and I was actually an extra in the Amazing Spider-Man too. So
Oh, dope,
yeah, so
dope.
when I hear about like, oh, we almost walked out of the scene of Deadpool, and you're like, they don't have African American actors over there. I'm like, do they have Italian Hispanics at BC? Because if they don't,
Yeah.
I'm coming. you know, do
Hey,
they do they have that? But this is my question to you, Dyshawn. If he's over there doing his thing, which I know he's been acting. Speaking of Keon Lynn, fellow Syracuse alum on the football team, my question to you is: did you sneak onto the Deadpool set? Did you get in there and like?
no, but I did audition for a commercial, and that was a good experience. And I did it with Keon, and Keon, like he always he was like, even when I went back over there, bro, you should do this acting, bro. Like you should do this, you'll be good at it. You should do this, you should do that. And like I would be open to it, but I would never like have the chance to do it because I won't be over there long enough. But like I actually tried it. I needed a little bit more training. See, Keon went like full blast with it. Like he got
Yeah.
coaching, got an agent, like where like that's his thing now. He's doing like stunts and stuff now. Like he's like full blown like actorish, like
So the question is now, will we see Keon Lynn in Deadpool and Wolverine?
Keon is. I don't think he's in Deadpool or Wolverine, but he's in Batwoman.
He's in Batwoman. Okay.
He's in Batwoman. Um, he's in a ton of shows on Netflix. Like he has like so many like little scenes on certain like little shows on Netflix. Uh, he's in a Wrangler commercial. The one that be on like NFL Network and everything. Like with riding a horse with the cowboy hat. Like, yeah, Keon doing good, man. Keon doing good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just think it would like, and that would be fun for me to, and I want to like that just like you said, like just to walk onto the set of Deadpool because I remember when we were doing the Amazing Spider-Man 2, like that's what they would do there because we were on Main Street, and so people were trying to get in this, and people were opening their windows at work and like looking out and stuff, and so they're like, all right, they're like, hold on, we got some windows open, and they had to wait for the people like close the windows and they could call action and stuff because people are going through real life and everybody's trying to get on it and whatnot.
It's like it was so dope. Like we walking on the street that we normally walk on, and it's a red light. I mean a green light, so we stopped, and then the light turned red, and we crossed the street. And when we crossed the street, it's like the street doesn't normally look how it looks. It's like they decorated the street to make it look like it was back in the 70s or something like that. So it didn't dawn on to me till I seen like the cameras moving, and then to the people were just like, "Hold up, wait, you can't walk right now. They're shooting the movie." And I was just like, "Oh, that's so dope." So I just try to sneak on the scene right quick. I try to sneak in over there, like, "Yo, let me just walk in the back." Like, nah, man. And then I was seeing that everybody was dressed up a certain way.
Yeah.
Like they had a certain type of clothing on. So I was just like, "Oh, all right, man." I was like, "Just give me a little costume right quick, man. I'll just walk past the camera. I won't even look. Let me walk." They're like, nah, you can't do that. And I was like, all right.
Yeah. No, I respect it because like for us, it was at one point when we were filming this scene because we were filming all these angles. I remember they said to me, they're like, "Hey, in this scene, the 18-wheeler is going to come around the corner. It's going to be flying at you." And I was right in front of the camera, people all the way down. They said, "It's going to hook. The cop cars are going to follow it. It's going to hit a car on the other side of the street. That car is going to go flying. And then it's going to come toward you. And I need you to, like," they were telling everybody, they said, "Put your hands on your ears because we're going to put the sirens on in post. So you're not going to hear any sirens, but you got to like put your hands on your ears because it's going to be really loud." Some people listened, some people didn't, but you're supposed to take these cues. So I'm right in front of the camera. They're like, "This thing's going to come around the corner. The 18-wheeler is going to make like it's going to hit you. And I need you to be like, react to that and then jump off." So here's the second director because the first director was in New York City. This one was in Rochester. So we had the second director and we had the head of the extras. And so they yell action, and on one of the cuts, I come up, I put my hands on my ears for the sirens when I see the cop cars. I see the 18-wheeler coming. I get to my spot. I come off the sidewalk right in front of the camera, and I fly off the thing and go, and I run around, and the guy with the extras catches me, and he's got me right behind the camera with the director, and he goes, "Good job," because it looked real. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, that wasn't acting, man. I thought I was going to get hit by the car." That was like, it looked real because it was real. I felt
Was
that.
real, right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, "Wow, you did a great job." I'm like, "Thanks. I was trying to save my own life." But
Right.
so I want to get into rapid fire and got to ask you about Fran Brown. You and I are going to put each other on the hot seat for a few minutes. Dyshawn Davis here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Time flew by way too fast. I got to have Dyshawn back, and Syracuse CFL NFL alum here inside the Heritage Hill Studios. Dyshawn, my first question for you, you come from Camden, New Jersey. Fran comes from Camden, New Jersey, the new head coach of Syracuse football. Did you know Fran beforehand? And second part of the question, what are your thoughts on having Syracuse's head coach come from your hometown after you played there?
So a lot of people don't know about this story, but Fran actually shared this story at our alumni breakfast. So Fran is actually kind of like family to me. Fran was actually my mentor, my trainer. He actually helped me get my scholarship to Syracuse. Fran was the one that, he was picking me up, taking me to train all the time. Like I was Fran's first product of Fran. Before Fran was a coach, he was a trainer, and he was training, all the top athletes, in the South Jersey area at the time. And I would think I was like maybe a, sophomore, junior in high school, and Fran took me under his wing, and then later became like a GA coach at Temple.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I said, he was my mentor. He kind of like, was the one that showed me what hard work looks like to be a D1 football player. He was the one that showed me what it sounds like, what it looks like, how it feels, the work ethic of a D1 player, and not just a D1 player to perform at a D1 level. So he was actually prepared me to go into Syracuse, not physically but mentally to take a starting spot as a freshman. That was the one who like had my mentality the way it was. Like, he installed that toughness in me. And to see him become the head coach all these years now, and it's just like I just like felt like I won a Super Bowl. Like I shared that with him. Like when I heard that he became a head coach, it was like the ultimate. I don't know how the feeling of that, because to watch my mentor, somebody, help mold me become the head coach of my alma mater. It's like a full complete 360. Full complete 360. And I'm gonna tell you one thing about Fran. Fran is a winner. He's a man of his word. He high on integrity, high on morals and values, and Syracuse got something special, man. He's as you can see, he's already turning the program around. We jumped from what? We went from 100. So 2022, we were ranked in recruiting class. We were ranked, I want to say 65 in 2022. That's before he came. 2023, it was his first recruiting class. We took a big jump. The 2024 recruiting class, we went from 75 to 36. 2025 recruiting class, they're ranked 6. So you can see the impact that he's making already within not even a full year, not even a season yet.
Yeah.
The size of the team is ridiculous. From when I was there, last year, to come back and see the size of the team, I'm like, whoa. I could feel his presence and his impact already, and I know him personally, I know him personally. He is a winner. It's inevitable for him not to win. He's a winner of life. He's a winner at life. The energy that he puts in his world is going to spin back into him. That's just like how the universe works. He knows the universe. He knows how life works. He is a special person, and it shows. He's nobody. He coached all the top players. People just seeing he's a good recruiter. Yeah, he's a good coach. Yeah. But if you see his resume and the players that he developed over the last 10 years, man, that speaks volume. He changed so many lives before this position that he's in now. It's like I'm just one of hundreds that can speak on the impact that he made in their lives. And like I said, like I was his first prodigy, and anybody could vouch for this. Anybody who really knows Fran and knows the family, like Fran vouch for this story itself. Like that was he was the person, that installed that 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 resiliency because we from Camden,
Yeah.
like we come from nothing. Fran tell you the story. Like he was on welfare. We had nothing. Everything that we ever worked for, that we ever got, we scratched and crawled for day in and day out, like day in, day out. So like he's going to make a tremendous impact on the university, but not just for the university, but for so many young men. I think the way he's doing it is he's not just uh, doing it alone. Like he's bringing the alumni back. He's uh, bringing all these different people back to the school and getting people to connect, and having former alumni come and be still connected to the school. He's not afraid uh, to make Syracuse, Ohio State, Georgia, and all those. Like he's not afraid of that. Like he'll jump out there and do that. And they're the type of people that you need, And it's just only a matter of time before the program is like one of the top programs in the ACC. Like this first year, I won't even be surprised if like we compete for an ACC championship. Like I won't be surprised, Like
Yeah.
that's just me. Like I just won't be surprised because we like the resilience and toughness that team is gonna have when the season start. The adversity they're gonna be able to face so many like there that is inevitable. Is inevitable for it not to happen. So I'm excited to watch the journey. Um, all the players, all the players that you see on the team that got that Camden, New Jersey, South Jersey, New Jersey tag to them, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be connected with. I'm gonna know some way, somehow, shape, or form because I'm in the area and I'm developing the players. So like, um, yeah, man, like I'm excited. I'm excited. I got on my colors. I bleed orange. And my mentor, the head coach, like, let's go. Let's go. Like, let's go. Like my family. Like it's like for me to go there, for him to prepare me to go there, and then for me to uh experience so much for Syracuse to open up so many opportunities for me and for me to take advantage of them opportunities to bring me back and for me to have the impact that I do now in my area and to see, Fran, it's just like, come on, man. Like, come on, that's all God, That's all God work, man.
Well, and I appreciate everything you just shared with that. Like you said, first prodigy, a protege of Fran Brown, and the connection that you have to him, and that to me is meaningful. And like you said, sharing a story that not a lot of people know, and seeing that full circle effect of this man helped you when people didn't necessarily know who he was on the national scene. He helped you all those years ago. He helps you get a scholarship to Syracuse. Then all these years later, he becomes the head coach at Syracuse, and people know his name. And you're sitting there going, that's my guy. That's an extension of my family, where people are trying to get to know him. You knew him so many years ago. And the irony of him helping you get to Syracuse, and now he's the head coach trying to get people to Syracuse is pretty incredible. And you're training people that he could be recruiting, so now you're helping him. That's, like you said, that's
Yeah,
God's work. That's God's work.
yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely, man.
So you got one question for me. What do you want to ask me?
Oh, what? Let me see, man. So you've been at Syracuse, man, and you actually like know like and experience the different you know cultures of Syracuse football.
Yeah.
can you like, for you being like the person on the outside, outside in, looking from the outside in, can you like talk about the different experiences with players on the teams and with different coaches? Like explain like how it was with Marone, and then that transition with Schaefer, and then to Babers or
Yeah.
who? Yeah,
Babers.
and then Fran Brown. Like explain those uh like the culture, the energy at the game with the people, the players, because now I just like I went because the reason why I asked is because I remember last year I came to the spring game and like I never felt like an outsider in my life. Like it was no love shown like at all. You know, like I just didn't like it. Like coming back to my college where I put so much work in and grind, like I couldn't even talk to players. I couldn't see them. I couldn't like, you know, like I just wasn't feeling that. Like I kind of feel like I was just like I was pushed off to the side, like, you know?
Yeah.
And I came to the game, it was me, you know, Wayne Morgan, who else I come with? You know, Trey Burke, Al. You know, I came to the game with my players, a bunch of guys I played with, you know, and they felt the same way. It was just like Ron Thompson, like it was like the same thing. It was just like, yo, damn, like we can't come in the locker room, we can't come to the facility, we can't talk to the players. It was just like, you know, I don't know, I don't know. And then I know when I was playing, you know, I think Schaefer did allow players to come back and work out and talk to us and stuff like that. Like, I just didn't like feel any of that. So like you being a reporter, and I remember at the beginning of the podcast, you talked about like interviewing, having access to the players with interviews. Like back when I played, shit, we would have interviews every day, like Monday through, you know, Thursday. If a player had, you know, 10 interviews, that was 10 interviews, you know, whether it was from whatever. But that was part of our development too in media, like having interviews. So, can you just explain like the transition with like the culture and the coaches and that?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question because it does mean a lot to me and it is different. When I came back to Syracuse, and I've covered Syracuse my whole career, but when I was living down in Florida, which is the second hub of my company, when I was down there building bridges, which I thank God for every single day because they continue to hold strong, is when I came home, it was halfway through Marone. So I had the last couple of years of Doug Marone. And what I loved about the Doug Marone era at Syracuse is, like you said, we had interview opportunities. We had Monday, we had Tuesday afternoon, we had Tuesday night. It wasn't this like just awful situation of like you could talk to assistant coaches. You know, I used to sit down I remember sitting on the bench with Tyrone Wheatley and we're just sitting there talking like old friends and
Tyrone Wheatley, my guy.
Yeah. So being with being with Nate Hackett. And I mean, Nate Hackett and I are really, really good friends to this day. We just talked a week or so ago for like an hour. He was out enjoying some time before they got to go back to the Jets camp and get ready for the season. And he's out with his family just hanging out on the water. And I'm thinking, we'll talk for like a few minutes.
Oh, Hackett is the OC for the Jets?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, I love Hackett, man. He's a good guy, man. He's definitely a good guy.
Yeah, he's an amazing person.
He's funny as hell too. He's actually funny.
Yeah, he's very funny.
Like he got some jokes, like, you know, like he got a personality with him. Like he got a little pep to his step. Like shout out to Hackett. Yeah. Shout out to Hackett, man. Shout out to Hackett.
Big time shout out to Nate Hackett. I will echo that always. Big fan of him, and I have defended him at all times because I know his character. So yeah, so I mean, with under Doug Marrone, we could go out to Fort Drum. We could be if you had a 2 hour practice, we could watch an hour and 15 minutes, 45 minutes. So it was worth it. We could come to practice. We had like 3 or 4 interview opportunities. The access was great. Under Shafe and I are very close. I still talk to a ton of the people on his staff, and great guys, great guys.
Yeah, definitely. Shape is definitely a great guy.
Yeah, Shafe's an awesome guy. They didn't respect him. They didn't get, and I'm talking about the university. They didn't give him time. They didn't post anything about him. You didn't even know who the head coach was because they did no publicity for him. They treated him like a nothing, and he would have literally died on that hill for that university, and they messed that thing up. So, I mean, Shafe to me, I will never forget the first win that he had. I was standing outside of stadium control at the Dome, and he came down the hill, and he looked at me, and he goes, "Danny, we did it!" And he gave me like a huge hug, and like he grabbed me, and like we're like laughing, and we're hugging each other tight, and we're just standing outside. And in that moment, I was like, man, if this guy asked me to play defensive back right now, I'd be killing people on the field. Like, so
yeah, Shafe would definitely have you running through a wall for him for sure.
Yeah, and I remember the last time he was there, he didn't take any questions. He did his press conference, and I don't blame him for not taking any questions because the majority of the Syracuse media absolutely disrespected him. And when we were finishing up, I went over to him, and he was emotional, and we hugged each other, and I went to say something to him right there by stadium control, kind of ironic, full circle, like we're talking about. And I went to say something, and before I could say it, he whispered in my ear, he goes, "I love you." And I said, "I love you too, Coach." And I still am sad over that. And I just, man, I love that guy and his family, and Elsa and Wolf, and Missy,
Wolf, Missy, yes,
Wolf and
Wolf coaching now.
Yeah, Wolf and I, we keep in touch, and so then we got to Dino, and Dino and I have a good relationship, but for almost 10 years, I kept saying, banging the drum with Rob Drummond and with the alumni, and it got to a point where people were like watching the show, listening to the show, and they're like, "Dan, you got to go up on the hill. You got all these alumni with you. You got all these people coming on your show and speaking." And I never made this show to be a place for the alumni to air their concern. Like, I made it a home for alumni for Syracuse, but I never thought that Wake Up Call was going to be like this place where alumni could speak. And the funny thing is, Dyshawn, there are quote unquote Syracuse fans, which I don't think they are, but there's Syracuse fans out there that would yell at me for supporting alumni, ask me why are you obsessed with alumni and helping and like doing this and that. And I was like, are you asking me why I'm connecting myself to the people that came to my city, built up my city, and did good things in my city, in my hometown where I grew up 10 minutes from the Dome? I will always support the alumni. I will always defend the alumni, and I will be there for the alumni because I care about these people. And now that Fran is there, and now the media is like, "Oh, alumni," and they're asking all these questions, and you should see I wish there was a camera on my face every time somebody asks an alumni question, because I sit in that media room and I laugh. I'm like, you didn't care about any of these people. And now that Fran cares about them, now the media pretends like they care about y'all. And not saying that some of them don't, but it's, going through all of this, if I've learned anything, closing practice to us, taking opportunities away, going from being at Fort Drum to being at Fort Drum for 15 minutes, drive to Fort Drum for 2 hours, spend 15 minutes, leave, come back. I was like, I'm not driving out there for 15 minutes of practice, watch these guys do jumping jacks and so stupid and such a waste of time. And now that Fran is there, Fran and I had to keep pushing. I had to build a relationship with Fran, because there's the way that the Hill treats people, and there's a way that the city is. And I met Fran, and I talked to Fran, and I met his assistants, and I talked to them, and I feel like he knows what type of guy I am, and I've gotten to know what type of guy he is. And he let me in his office, and he said right in front of his staff, he said flat out, he was like, I like this guy. I know about this guy. If Danny wants to talk to me, like he can come in and he could talk to me. He needs something, and you know he could come and get me. And so I'm looking forward to having a coach that cares about alumni like I do. I'm looking forward to having a coach that recruits the community like I've asked coaches to. I'm looking forward to having a coach that, you know, talks about God and talks about faith. I mean, him and I have had conversations that I value, and hearing what you had to say today makes me feel better about this, because, you know, as you get to know somebody, you're like, okay, some coaches are lip service, and he said all these things that I really care about. I hope they're true. And then you're sitting here talking about all these things, morals and values, and helping the community, and he is who he says he is, and he's going to go out and do things, and he's going to care. So I can't speak badly about any coach. I could just say that, you know, the university just over time, from Marone to Dino, just shut the door more and more and more. And then Fran was like, I want y'all to talk to my assistants. And then I looked at the university going, well, the head coach said it. So if he said it, you can't stop it now. And, you know, to me, I'm a human being more than I'm a broadcaster. Like you said, I'm Dyshawn more than I'm a football player. And what I care about is people. And I care about bringing people together and telling the right story, like the honest story, the first time, every time. So to have a coach be in a room and recognize real, and to have him be at the spring game this past year, and he's looking at all the media, and when he left, he didn't say a word, and then he came over to me, he tapped me on the arm, and he said, good to see you, man. And it's that type of stuff to me, where it's like, when you fight to do the right thing every single day, and you get ridiculed and disrespected and plagiarized and stolen from of your peers in your profession, and then a head coach finally comes along and goes, nah, man, I know who you are. That I respect. And I really hope that Fran and I can help change the city for the better. I really do.
For sure. And then, you know, all the things that he's doing in the city is amazing, man. Like, I get calls from friends, you know, that's in the city, like, yo, I ran into Fran, man. Like, he had the boys out here playing football. Like, I went up to him, I talked to him, bro. He's really cool peoples, man. Yeah. He's, like, cool. Yeah. Like, bro, I know, like, that's him. Like, you know? Like, no, he was like, yo, he's out here playing football with us. Like, he's out here.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, that's regular. Like, that's him. Like, you know, like, he wanted to feel connected to the community. Like, he want his players to be in the community. That's who he is, man. Like, he's, you know, he's a people person, man. He's a people person, genuine person that genuinely means good for people, man. So his players, man, they gonna wanna jump off the roof for him, man. They gonna do whatever for him.
Yeah.
They gonna do whatever for him because they know he real, he genuine. And he know what he creating, he gonna have their back beyond the play.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have your back regardless. You know? This is just the surface, but we gonna be successful together for a long time. You know, regardless of this football thing work out for you or not. That's what he really creating, you know. That's what's really meaningful. That's why he's able to go out and recruit the same guys, Florida State, Ohio State, Oregon, and Alabama, and Georgia, and all these dudes have, because he did it for them. He got their great players to come and go to them. They will definitely come to Syracuse to play for Fran, sure.
And coming from Dyshawn Davis here this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Dyshawn, man, I cannot thank you enough, and I feel like we just started the conversation, so you and I are going to have to talk again.
Okay.
So
I like that, man.
We're going to have to do that. So I'm going to have to just bracket out time for just you and I, man. But you know you're one of my favorites that have ever come through here, and getting to see you at the spring game meant a lot to me, and you know, I'm always sending you love and always hoping the best for you.
Always love, Dan. Whenever you call, man, you see how, yo, you good for this? Yeah, I got you, Dan. Whenever. That's the love that you create, man. That's you, you know? That's you, Dan. So your name is valued, is appreciative, man. Everybody, not just me, a lot of alumni rock with you, man. You know, you part of the family, man. Appreciate you.
Well, that means the world to me. The kid in me, if I knew I was going to grow up and be part of the Syracuse Orange family, man, that kid would have passed out. So, but I appreciate it, man, and I feel the love, and right back at you, man. When you call me, when you get in touch, I'm here, and some of the kindest words anybody's ever said, and I will take those to heart. So, I love you, man. I do.
Yeah, I love you too, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely. I'll talk with you soon. All right. God bless.
All right. Yeah.
See you. That coming from Dyshawn Davis here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And we are going to jump right into our conversation here with Annette Acuff. So she's going to be coming on here to the broadcast momentarily. I thank y'all for having patience here as we got Annette set and ready to go here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and ran a little bit over here with Dyshawn Davis, but a conversation that you don't want to cut off. And that's the thing on the show here, is that we have so many wonderful conversations, and they typically bleed into the next conversation. And, you never know how to say goodbye to one, and yet at the same time, you want to make sure that you say hello to the other. So a lot of great stuff happening here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And of course, the Bearcat Breakroom coming up to you here right within the next few seconds here. Bearcat Breakroom featuring the Binghamton University Bearcats in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, and Annette Acuff going to be joining us here to have a conversation about the amazing news that Emily Mackay, the Binghamton cross country and track and field alum, heading to the 2024 Paris Olympics. So a lot of great stuff coming up here where sports meets that thing called life, and in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Binghamton University Bearcats. I thank you for being here with us, and I thank you for spending some time with us, and I thank you for being patient this morning as our hour number one conversation continued on here a little bit longer. So as we await bringing Annette in to the broadcast, and hopefully we'll get her on here in just a second video-wise, we will be happy to have this conversation here with you where sports meets that thing called life. So with that being said, we are going to bring in Annette Acuff here, the Binghamton University cross-country head coach and assistant coach in the track and field world, a fantastic piece of the Bearcat family, someone who has spent over 2 decades with this incredible group of student athletes. So Annette is here with us picture in picture. And Annette, I appreciate your patience. Had no idea we were going to run that far over. So my apologies first and foremost, as I know that we wanted to get you on here sooner. So I apologize for that.
No problem, Dan. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And Annette, I mean, this is incredible. This is such a great moment for Binghamton University. It's a great moment for the Mackay family. It's a fantastic moment for student athletes that are at Binghamton, those that you're recruiting, seeing what can happen when you go through Binghamton University. What's going through your veins right now, knowing that somebody that you have so much love and respect for, that you've helped over the years, to see Emily now advance herself and represent not just Binghamton, not just her family, her community, but she's representing all 50 states of the United States of America to the world in just a little while here.
Right. I think, certainly there are a lot of different things that are going through your mind. It's first and foremost, it's just super exciting, to be a part of the process. We certainly enjoyed watching Emily's development while she was here at Binghamton, and she was a wonderful student athlete to work with. Yeah. I think, even more importantly, just a lot of fun, very exciting to watch compete, and, a joy to be around. So, I think, it's kind of hard to put it all into words. You spent 5 years, here with her, working and watching her develop over those 4 years, and it's it's kind of crazy. I can kind of put it into perspective a little bit. When Emily first started with us, she was kind of starting over a lot with her training and getting healthy and kind of getting her feet back on the ground running, so to speak. And her first mile with us was at Ocean Breeze, and I think she ran like 5:20 for a mile, which a lot of people wouldn't would really have a hard time believing.
Yeah.
But she kind of really had to start over, and because of some time off that she had from some injuries when she was at Oregon State. But you think back to those days and her first meet with us in cross country. There are a lot of different moments that kind of run through your head from when she started to where she's at now. But obviously, it's a very exciting time for her and for us.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, when you go back to the beginning of the story, in any walk of life, anybody who people see from the outside looking in and go, "Oh, that person's successful," they don't see all of the things that went into that, right? They see the end result, but they don't see, like you said, that the initial, these were your numbers, this is where she was at, this is how she started. So being so close to her in her journey, what can you say about the path that you've seen Emily Mackay take and just how she's evolved before your eyes? Because you're seeing her do the dirty work essentially and doing all these things in the background that people don't see. They just see, oh, here's an Olympian, but you got to be with her throughout this process. So who has she become over time that you've gotten to see firsthand?
Yeah, I think a lot of different things, both from a physical and a mental um, developmental perspective. She's, physically, it's she just really bought into the process, and I think she was very patient. And Emily didn't realize, I don't think even herself. I mean, none of us quite did. I think knowing what she ran in high school. She was very competitive in the 1500 as a junior in high school. I think that always stuck in the back of our minds, both with her and I know with our coaching staff. She ran 4:25 for a 1500 as a junior. So you knew the talent was there. And I knew her coach at Oregon State well too. So he's a good friend of mine. And I think that helped, talking with him when she transferred here, knowing kind of what her year was like there. Um, so I think, for her developmentally, it's just been a buying into the process, and she was very patient. And, every year she stacked another level of development, and confidence. And that's, and the rest is history, so to speak. It's just taken some time. And, we're always preaching, so to speak, to our athletes here that, you've got to be patient, and it's just not going to happen overnight. And that can be a difficult process for people, for athletes, in the distance world, especially. And I think mentally, I think the thing that has been the most impressive with her is just watching her grow emotionally, and especially over the last couple of years as she's competed. I've been fortunate to, still spend a lot of time with her when she's back in town visiting her family. We'll typically get together when we both have time and kind of sit down and talk, and I can kind of hear kind of how she's doing. And that's been very rewarding, I think, for both of us to continue to stay in touch and watch her, grow and mature, throughout this whole process.
Yeah, and Annette, for you, and when we had the opportunity to talk with Emily Mackay about this opportunity in the 2024 Paris Olympics, she came back to you. She spoke about you. What does that mean to you that you've had an effect on her? And I can imagine knowing just the community at Binghamton, coaches defer to their assistants and they defer to their student athletes and other people. But Annette, I'm going to challenge you here today to give a little bit of credit to the work that you put in over all these years, because it seems like you had such an effect on Emily, and I really want to spotlight that. And I want to thank you for that, because anybody that understands really any walk of life knows that if you see somebody out there doing great things, someone somewhere tried to help them along the way. And it seems like your effect on Emily is very top of mind to her.
I know, I appreciate that. I think that's why we're here. That's why we sit in these chairs, right? To help our athletes, be successful. And that's just, that's part of the process. With Emily, I think, she's very easy to coach. She's been great over the years, and just is kind of a sponge, and really towards the end of her career at Binghamton, I think we both started to realize, when she came back after the COVID break, which was about a 6-month break, she had some extra time and really dived into her training. And when she came back from that, she'd really developed a good, stronger base of mileage, and was able to finally kind of get her mileage up. And that's been the key for Emily, to be quite honest. The talent has always been there. The potential has always been there. It's just been a matter of her gaining more fitness and, certainly more experiences that have helped her to build more confidence. And then it's just grown exponentially. I mean, she's just really taken off, and I've been really impressed with how well she's handled the professional level, and that took a little, about a year for her to kind of gain some experience and get into some better races. But I told her coach, I saw her coach Mark Coogan in Raleigh back at the Raleigh Relays at the end of March, and he was really impressed with how well she did at the World Championships indoors. And I said, she's just going to take off now.
Yeah.
I said, I think she's got the confidence now. I said, look out, because I've been knowing her how I do. I can't say that, it's obviously tough to make the Olympic team, but
yeah,
I'm not surprised. And, nothing surprises me with her. And every time she's competed, for the first time at the cross country national championship, she got 14th. I mean, it was incredible. My assistant coach and I, we were like, almost like, how did you do that? Most athletes, the first time they compete on the national stage, there's a lot of nerves, and it's a tough experience a lot of times that first time around. But she handled it so well. Same thing when she qualified for the outdoor track and field championships in the 5K. It wasn't even an event that she had a lot of experience in, but she's just such a great competitor, and is really great, just about living in the moment and competing in the moment. And really just has a great mindset going into competition.
Here in this Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, Annette Acuff here with us, a Binghamton head cross country coach and assistant track and field coach inside of the Heritage Hill studios. Annette, were you out there in Eugene, Oregon with her?
Yeah, I had an opportunity to go, so I was really excited to be able to do that and, help support her at the trials. It was just a wonderful experience.
How did you kind of take that all in? Because this is like, I mean, to me, when you talk about Olympics, and I don't know if other people are like this, but when I hear that word, something inside of me is like, oh, this is the real. Like this is all of it, right? To represent your country, to represent everybody within it, and to stand before the world. So you're out in Eugene, Oregon, and you're watching Emily and obviously cheering her on and hoping for her. Bring me into your experience through your eyes to not only be there with her, but to couple that with the fact that whoever's going, you're watching who will eventually represent the United States of America.
Yeah, I think all of that is very true. There's no doubt. And I guess when you're there, though, you're thinking about just executing well. Yeah. And you're not thinking about it, the end result. And I think, I was fortunate enough to be down in the warm up area with Emily, both before she competed and afterwards. And, she handled it so well. She was just focused on her game plan, executing. I think that was really the biggest challenge is just, what's your game plan like and being patient. And I think she had a great, um, you know, plan in place mentally. I think she was really locked into that. And, I was just there to be a sounding board if she needed it. And, there were a couple of times, a few times that, she, certainly let me know what her plan was, going into both the semifinal and the final. And I think just having another person there, other than her coach to, talk with and help her to kind of feel relaxed and confident in her plan, made a little bit of a difference for her and kind of helped keep the nerves down just a little bit. But, I guess you're just not thinking about, the end result you're thinking about at the time. And then after it was all over with, I think it hit me probably a little bit more, and even like a couple of days later. So I had to kind of jet back to Portland because that's where I was staying and flying out the next morning after the final. I unfortunately didn't get to kind of hang out too much longer, but it takes them a good 3 hours to do team processing and drug testing and all of that stuff right after they compete in that final. So I did get a chance to visit with her for a little bit. And obviously that was a great moment, to kind of share with her. But, it's just a lot of excitement really right at first. And then afterwards, you start thinking about, oh, wow, I mean, this is amazing. You're going to get to represent, you made your first Olympic team. And I think when I get a chance to kind of sit down and talk with her a little bit more, that'll be enjoyable to kind of process that.
You said you got to have a moment, right? You got to have some
Right.
time after she found out that she made it. So bring me into that moment, just what you remember about what was said, just how it happened. Paint a picture for us, was it a big hug and were there tears? Was it kind of laughing like, oh my goodness, here we go. We did it type of thing. Bring me into that.
Right. Yeah, no, I think it was about an hour, maybe an hour, 10 minutes or so after the final. So that was kind of part of obviously it's still super exciting, but it was a little bit of a down period after the final. I got to see a few coaches that I know and, got to, kind of celebrate a little bit right afterwards. And then when she came out, yeah, she got a chance to like meet with her coach and, give him a hug and talk with him. And then, when she came further out, then, I was able to like, give her a hug. And yeah, I mean, she was super excited. I think the first thing she said, she's like, I did it. And I was like, yeah, you did. I'm not surprised. So, certainly, yeah, it was a great moment. We got some pictures and, shared a few minutes. I would say like I had like about 15, 20 minutes with her and that was about it. But yeah, it was a great moment to share with her. And I know it was for her too.
The Emily Mackay that we see just out there doing what she loves, there's so much more. And the conversation we had in hour number one of Wake Up Call here inside the Heritage Hill Studios, Dyshawn Davis said, I'm more than a football player. Like people know me for football, but that's not all of me. This isn't all of her playing the sport that she plays and doing what she's done and being out there on a track. So what can you tell us if most of us only see the tip of the iceberg of Emily Mackay? What's under the water when it comes to her?
Yeah, I think she did recently a really good interview with the Binghamton local community media and then also with our sports information department. And they just did that, I think, about a week ago or so. And I thought that she did a really good job with that. And I think a lot of the questions were great. That really kind of showed her personality quite a bit. Emily is very down to earth. I mean, I guess that's the best way to describe her. She's very, in my mind, she is very simple. And I don't, and she'd laugh if she heard me saying that. She's just, um, she doesn't make things difficult. She doesn't make things harder than what they are. And I think that is one of her greatest strengths. She just she does what she needs to do in terms of like her training, and but she's got an incredible sense of humor. I guess I can add that, and I think you saw that a little bit in her interviews with the Binghamton local media. So her sense of humor is great. I think that adds a lot to her. Like before she competes, she's usually got, you know, a line or two, and it's great to be able to kind of, connect with her like that. I think before she competes, but I think, her sense of humor, just being very down to earth, those are some of the things that, I think really show her personality quite a bit.
Yeah, and I was on that call, and I'm going to be sharing my questions to her, and we'll be putting that up on all of our pieces here. One of the things that she said that wasn't an answer to my question, but it was within the call, is the superstitions and the nail polish color. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that when she said that, it was great because that that just shows her personality quite a bit.
So for you, Coach, I want to, and we'll come back to Emily and get ready for these Olympics. But for you, spending over 2 decades at Binghamton University, I want to Tarantino this thing and go back in time. How did Binghamton happen for you initially, and why have you remained a Bearcat for so many years?
I think there are a number of reasons, to be honest. I starting here, gosh, I guess this will be my 25th year, 24 years ago. It took us a while to kind of develop a little bit of success. And I would say it was probably about 7, years roughly. And I started in 2000, and then, it just took a while to kind of build the program and start bringing in some more, uh, you know, higher level talent, Division I talent that we felt could be competitive, in the America East. We joined the America East pretty quickly within like that first year, which was pretty impressive. And, it just took a little time, and we've been fortunate. You know, I've been incredibly fortunate. A lot of the local runners that have been very successful have come here. I really have enjoyed that success with some of the local high school, runners from the Binghamton area. They've developed really well here, and we've had quite a bit of success with that in the Section 4 and Binghamton area. So it's just it took a little while for us to kind of get things going, and then once, we had Eric Van Ingen, who was a really good miler for us, that did very well back in the 2009 to 2012 years, and Eric really kind of kickstarted our elite, level success for some distance runners, and was a 4-time All-American for us, and ran 3:56 for the mile, so that really helped, bring in some other recruits like Jesse Garn and Eric Holt. And then on the women's side, it just kind of took us a little longer. When Emily came, I actually had Aziza Chikataiva, and she was here, and they both related pretty well and helped kind of push each other, and they really helped me build the women's program here at Binghamton over the last like 5 years plus. So it's taken us a little longer, but I've always said, like, it just takes one, and
Yeah.
and that's how it happened, really for us, and having one athlete come in and do really well at the national level, and that took some time. A lot of it is just getting kids that certainly have the potential to compete maybe at the regional or the national level. You never know for sure until a lot of times kids get to like their junior year. It takes a couple of years for athletes to kind of figure a few things out themselves and, develop both physically and mentally, at this level, because it is very competitive. You're trying to compete not only in the American East Conference, but you want to get to the regional level. The national level is so difficult to be competitive at.
Yeah.
But, it's a process, just like I said with the athletes, for us as coaches, you have to buy into the process. And I guess for me, that's kind of what it's taken, just to, buy into it. And it's just, it's taken 24 years, so to speak, to be able to kind of do that. So almost a quarter of a century.
For you, what's been the biggest learning piece or learning pieces when you talk about having tools in your tool chest and you're going into your 25th year? What tools do you have in year 25 that weren't necessarily there in year 1 or year 8 or year 15 that are there now?
Experience. I mean, I think experience again. We've now had we've had several athletes who have been very competitive. Many athletes who've been very competitive at the American East level, conference champions and all conference athletes. And I think now, really for me, it's, I know Binghamton very well. I've been here for a very long time. I understand the institution that we are, academically. And I think that helps a lot. I think, when you've been at an institution for so long, you really know, what student athletes that you need to recruit. And I think, I have a very good sense and pulse on the recruiting for our program, because I have been here for so long. I know what I'm looking for. And, we've been very fortunate. We've got a great incoming group of both men and women this year that I'm very excited about, and returners that are returning this year. So I think knowing that's one of the perks, another perk to have been at an institution for so long, and the consistency, and we've had a lot of consistency too, like in our strength and conditioning area. Lori Gleason has been a fantastic assistant coach, as our strength coach for me. I think this is maybe like her 18th year that she's been with our program. And, I've had several different assistant coaches because it's a stepping stone position, but they've all been great and have certainly helped us, especially with our recruiting for our program. But, a lot of it's just knowing what, we're looking for. We do get great interest now, the best interest that we've ever had. We're currently talking to some very competitive high school kids in New York. We primarily recruit within New York State because of our resources, and that really helps us. But New York State is one of the most competitive states in the country for track and field and distance running, so that really helps us a lot. That's been really key for us over the years, for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, the talent that is in New York State, we go back to Emily Mackay and Union Endicott, right? Endicott, New York, and literally, I don't even know if you could say a stone's throw from Binghamton, because it's like a walk across the street type of feel when you're Endicott, Binghamton. It's all obviously right there. It feels like walking distance, and I've been around that area for a while. I want to thank, I guess you can call him an adopted grandpa to me, but Grandpa Bill Davies, who passed away a few years ago, his incredible love for the Southern Tier, for all things in Binghamton and in the Endwell and Endicott area, and just donating to the community and giving back. When I sat down with Eugene Marshall, the athletic director at Binghamton University, I said, I've wanted to work with Binghamton for many years now. I said, I've been trying to do something here for probably about 3.5 years. And it's not just me. Like, on top of that, I feel like this is a way for, my adopted grandfather in heaven to see the spotlight on a place that he loves so dearly. This is a great community. and, to go a little bit deeper into it, just what it means to you to have that, not just Emily, but in general, when we look around the state of New York and we look at the southern tier, that Binghamton University is taking these student athletes that are right around the corner and putting them in a Division I world and putting them on the map and giving them an opportunity. To me, it's heartwarming, and to me, it makes me feel good, because the New York student athlete of any sport doesn't necessarily get the respect that they deserve. And I love that Binghamton has found such a resource in saying, let's keep these kids at home if we can.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with you, and thank you for sharing that. I think that's excellent. I appreciate your fondness of Binghamton University and the things that we're trying to do here. And I feel very much the same. It's been very rewarding for me to be able to take, some of the local talent and help them, develop. Dan Schaefer is another one for us that was from Maine Indwell. I've had a few student athletes from Maine Indwell that have been, great. Vestal, Binghamton, Johnson City. We've had several, and a lot of them have been able to go on and be very competitive, both in our conference, regionally or nationally. Emily was from Union Endicott, was a national qualifier. Dan Schaefer was a national qualifier for us from Maine Indwell. Jeff Martinez from Johnson City was a regional qualifier, 2 times. Josh Stone, currently in our program, was a regional qualifier his first time this spring in the 10K. Yeah. And Eric Van Ingen was from Marathon, 30 minutes, up the road. So when I look at, a lot of our success that we've had, that's a lot of it has been from, this area, the Binghamton area, Section 4. And, we're certainly very proud of that.
Annette Acuff here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in this Bearcat Breakroom inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Before we jump into rapid fire, where we get to put each other on the hot seat, and you as a coach get to ask a question or two, which coaches never get to do, so you get to address me, which is awesome. Before we go there, cross country and track and field, when we're speaking on these sports, these incredible sports that are extremely hard to compete in, there are misconceptions with this. And I don't want to load the question by going, what do you think of this misconception? But what are the misconceptions of cross country and track and field that you think maybe the average fan watching the Olympics thinks or says? And what is the truth, so to speak? So the misconception of these sports and what the reality is.
I think sometimes there can be a misconception that, athletes are just, super talented, which, I think, and it's just easy, and it's really not, obviously. And I don't think that everyone, thinks that, but I think you mentioned it earlier, and it was an excellent point that it's such a process. And, if everyone, knew Emily's progress, and she's quite honestly, I have to admit, I use this term a lot, and I don't use it with a lot of people, but, she's a masterpiece in terms of development. Yeah. And that's been really pretty cool to be a part of that. But, she really has been, starting from like ground zero and, making the Olympic team, to be a part and witness all that. But, I think that, there's just that kind of misconception maybe sometimes that like, maybe, it's just been an easy route and that you're just super talented and it's really easy, and it really hasn't been. And I know that for a fact, especially with her, and I know that's the case, with a lot of other athletes as well. And there's also a misconception, I think, too, that, we're Division I and that, everyone's getting a full scholarship and, that, the athletes that I have, and that they're not, they're just, sometimes, I think some people might think that, like, we just spend, a lot of time running, but, I have many athletes in my program that, they're getting, maybe a little bit of scholarship money, but they're taking 18, 20 credits. Sometimes, I mean, I've had several athletes take 18 credits, in a semester, and also work and run.
Yeah.
And it's really, really tough. We're pretty flexible, and luckily, I think with our sport, with running, as coaches, we can be a little bit more flexible with our athletes if they need to, work some hours at a certain time. We'll work with them with their training schedule, and not just have one practice, but maybe have two different practice times, so we can kind of get everyone in, and it can help them manage their schedule a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, they're doing a lot more than just certainly being an athlete. Of course, at the professional level, it's a little bit different. That's all you're doing, and I think that's a huge piece of it too. I know a lot of people are like, "Gosh, Emily, you've improved so much from, like, college, to now," and she has, but there are obviously a lot of factors involved with that, and to be able to just focus on running and, have the resources that she does, at her fingertips, it really makes a tremendous difference in what you're able to do. But, that's, and I think, but I think a lot of people do respect, with running, that, it's a lot of hard work. It's not,
Yeah.
in track and field, and, it's not an instant gratification sport. And so again, it kind of goes back to just buying into, like, the training piece and the process and the development, and it just takes time. So we're a little under the radar, but we kind of like that, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think, we just focus on what we need to do, and do the best job that we can with it, and that's usually how we get things done.
Well, and in the world of running, you have one of the biggest quotes that people say in all walks of life, and it stems back to your sport, where people say it's a marathon, not a sprint. And so, that always seems fitting when people are watching, watching these qualifying, these trials and whatnot, and saying, okay, like, why aren't they taking off of the gate full speed? Why aren't they doing this and that? And you see them go around the track, and somebody kind of fades off, and somebody comes up here. And then at that last moment, someone's been conserving that energy. And you're like, how did that person just burst forward in front of 3 or 4 people? And it's because it is a marathon, not a sprint. And, kind of the reality, because I think most people, you get on a track and you're like, all right, I'm going to run full speed and I'm going to beat everybody. And it's like, if you got to go around this thing 4 times, you have to conserve your energy. You have to pick your spots. There's all of those nuances in the mental part of any game, of any walk of life. And so to me, when I hear somebody go, well, it's just running, I'm like, no, it's not. There's a skill to it. There's obviously the endurance of it, preparing your body and your stamina for it. Right. And also staying in it and staying in your plan and being able to ad-lib to that plan, but staying consistent with yourself and knowing the mentality of, okay, somebody just passed me and another person just passed me, and seeing that before your eyes, and then saying, yeah, but keep to the plan. You know what you're doing. They might not be conserving as much energy. You know what you're capable of. You've done this before. So I think people forget that in the world of running, there's so much going on inside the mind of the runner, which I think is a really cool thing to unlock.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. The strategy, it's one of the reasons why I love the middle distances. There's no doubt they are very strategic, especially, and not that the longer distances aren't, but the middle distances are especially strategic, and the 1500. So, but yeah, a lot of people don't, realize that there is a lot of thinking going on, and the strategy involved in how you run, and knowing your strengths, and also to be quite honest, knowing like what your weaknesses are and challenging yourself to get better in those areas. I mean, that's really, and that's, it's one of the things that to, just to kind of go back to Emily just a little bit, and her background, one of the things that she didn't have experience in was the tactics, in the 1500. And she did talk about that a lot. And that's been her goal. I know, because we've talked about it many times, is that in order for her to compete on the world level, especially, and of course the US level, but really the world level, is she's got to be able to be a better, tactical runner in the 1500. And she knew that would be the case in the trials, and that would be key for her to be able to kind of make it through, to make the team. And I'm just so proud of how she's really tackled that in this last year, especially in being able to just be a very savvy tactical racer in the 1500, because in championship races, that's how you make it through. And at any level, whether it's our America East level, the NCAA regional level, to get to nationals, or the national level to make the final. It's just, it's been very cool to watch.
Yeah, it's incredible, and I appreciate all the background that you provide in this conversation. And one of our longtime listeners, Jerry, said a coach used to make us run the CC track for detention, mea culpa, and we used to have to do it for my alma mater, Christian Brothers Academy, every year in gym class. You had to run, whether you ran track or you didn't run track, like you had to go to the track and we had to do the mile. They made us run around it 4 times. And then you're sitting here like, I can't be last because people are going to make fun of me. And this is like, it was such like a challenging, like it made you sick to your stomach, where you're like, okay, well, obviously I gotta be able to do this, and I'm not going to eat today, or I'm going to eat something small. And what time's my gym class? Am I running the mile at third period? Am I running the mile at the end of the day? So, I can honestly say that for those of you that think it's easy, it is not in any way, shape, or form easy to do that at all. We're going to jump into rapid fire here in this Bearcat break room with Annette Acuff. Annette, you get to ask me the first question. What do you have for me?
Well, have you run since those days?
So here's the interesting thing, and this is what I love, is I did not like running as a kid. I didn't like going on the track or doing any of that. I played basketball majority of my life, and if you put a basketball in my hand, like, I'd be out there for 6 hours, God knows how many miles that I was running, but I didn't pay attention. So I would always tell people, I go, if you put me on a track and you don't give me something, like you got to give me a basketball, or there's got to be like tickets to a really cool event coming, like give me something to run for. But nowadays, I love cardio. I want my body to be in the best shape it's ever been. And so I actually do like to jog. I like to walk. I like to run. I've challenged myself over the past few years. I'm asking more of myself now moving forward, because I accepted that challenge before and then I kind of got away from it for a little while. And things that I love, if anybody pays attention to me, it's funny. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I could be with a friend. I could be by myself. I could be leaving a date or something like that. If you watch me in an open parking lot, I will run to my car, turn around, backpedal to my car full speed, and then spin around again. And I just did that yesterday, I think. But I really love getting my body in shape where I can do things that I didn't think I could do. So to answer your question, yes, I care about it and I love it. And if I can look into the camera and tell anybody anything of merit here, if you want to look good and feel good, you literally have to do the work. You have to do the work.
Right. Yep.
So my question back to you, Annette, is, which one of your student athletes currently do you think you could beat in a race?
Oh, gosh.
Like who would you want to
You know,
challenge? Who would you want to challenge?
I'll be honest with you here, and this is the absolute truth. I would say probably my last 5 years of coaching have really have really, hit me hard. Since COVID, we had some challenging years with COVID. I still run, not much, and it's a little it's I would call it jogging more so today than actual running, But I'm pretty critical of myself. There's no doubt, but I do try to continue to run and keep myself in a little bit of shape, primarily so I can kind of keep up. So I can see my athletes actually competing on a cross country course. In track, it's pretty easy because they're just running in circles. I don't miss them too easily. But in cross country, you actually have to move and get around, different points on the course. Otherwise, you're not going to see them race at all, and that wouldn't be any fun. So, I'm not sure. That's a tough question. To be honest, it'd probably be one of my athletes that's currently injured and not running because they're all in pretty good shape, I think, right now. So we got a couple of kids that are still kind of working their way back into running, but yeah, it might be like a sophomore coming in that's just hasn't been able to run a whole lot. But my fitness these days is uh, that's kind of gone out the window a little bit, unfortunately, because I've spent a lot of time traveling and it's tough lifestyle.
Yeah. No. I understand. Hey, listen, I understand. What's your second question for me?
My second question, I guess, did you play any sports in high school then?
So yes, I played basketball, and I grew up playing a little bit of baseball. I got hit by a wild pitch right above my kidney, and I didn't really want to play basketball at the time or baseball at the time. So I looked at my dad and I was like, "Well, you want me to play the sport? I just got hit." And it was like the real that a doctor gives you, where he's like, "Yeah," he goes, "If you were like an inch from where you got hit, if it was just like an inch difference, he's like, you'd be peeing blood right now." And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. So I mean, it was just one of those things where I'm like, you're telling a 10-year-old that you would be in that situation. So it's weird because I like baseball more now, but as a kid, I wasn't really into it. But I did. I played basketball. I love basketball. I still love basketball. I challenged myself to be able to shoot from anywhere. I have witnesses in my hometown of Syracuse, New York, that in 3 different gyms within the past couple of years, I not only made a half court shot in each of those 3 gyms, but it was the first shot I took. And so I definitely love it. I will go there when I want to shut my brain off. If the world's kind of getting a little heavy and a little crazy, which in 2024 is daily, then you go and I just do. I go and I play the game, and I'll play scenarios in my head and kind of ask myself, what are you going to do with this? And I'm very critical internally, constructively, of, you knew how to do this, we need to learn how to do this again. Or you're better with your left hand, or you didn't square up right with that shot. So as much as I'm silent to the world, inside of my brain, I am very much like, I treat every time on the court like you're playing the NBA and you're practicing for the NBA finals. I need you to get prepared. Like my when it comes to basketball, I deeply love it. And I hope, I don't have kids, but I hope someday I will. And I want to be that dad that can be like 56 years old on the court with them, holding my own and challenging them. I don't want to be like sitting in a chair watching them. So I pray to God that, he will always meet me halfway, and that the work I put in and, by his good graces, I'll have the opportunity to actually get to raise them. And I get an itch to coach, even if it's just for like a summer league. So if and when I have kids, I'm going to really have that itch of but see, I know me, and I'm passionate, and I think people would see another side of that passion. I'm funny, but I absolutely I think officials and I will have some fun together, is what I'll say.
I could see that. No, that's
My question back to you, Annette.
Definitely do that.
What'd you say?
I said you should definitely do that. I think being involved, in those youth sports, would be an awesome experience.
No, yeah, and I love it, and I'm currently watching. I haven't finished it, but today I'll be finishing the movie Champions, which is Woody Harrelson's character helping intellectually disabled people, and I grew up by a house that was for them. One of these like group homes, and literally just a couple steps from the house I grew up in. So the intellectually disabled have been paramount to me, that since I was a little kid, that there's not human beings and them. We're all the same. We should all be treated the same. Opportunities should be given to both. So watching that movie has not only inspired me coaching wise, but it's inspired me to remember like my roots of the people from that group home that had such a positive effect on me, that really two gentlemen specifically that have just kind of always called to my heart. So there's something that I'm going to need to do in that realm at some way, shape, or form, and I look forward to that opportunity to do that. My question, like really my heart's in it. My question back to you, Annette, is if you were not coaching cross country and track and field right now, what would Annette Acuff be doing?
Most likely, at this stage, it's hard to think of another career path, when you're over 25 years in, because I was, coaching but prior to Binghamton before I came here. So this will be my 28th year or so of coaching. But, I think at this stage, I'm thinking more about, retirement, date, in the future, not anytime soon, of course, but at the same time, I have a condo up in Lake Placid, New York. And so I do try and get up there in the summer. I love the outdoors. I'd certainly love to be able to travel a little bit more on a personal level, but, we travel a lot for track and field, and that is, with three seasons, cross country, indoor and outdoor, I get hit pretty hard with a lot of travel every year, but I do enjoy getting up to the Adirondacks in upstate New York and visiting with my family. That most of them still live in Oklahoma. I have a brother that lives in Tampa, so I do try and get out to watch some of my nieces and nephews play some sports, and that's a lot of fun for me. So it'd be good to be able to spend a little bit more time with family and certainly, in the outdoors.
I love that, and I can appreciate that. Final question from you, Miss Annette, to me.
Another question. Wow.
Yeah. Enjoy it, because for the rest of the upcoming season, you as a coach will only be answering them unless you're on this show.
Right. Boy. How long have you lived in the area your whole life, correct?
So I went to school in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I went to Marywood University, and then I came back to Syracuse for 3 months. Then I moved to Florida, worked at Disney, worked at an ESPN affiliate. Pardon me. After Marywood, I moved back here for 3 months, moved back to Dunmore in the Scranton area, started on ESPN radio, came back to Syracuse for a couple months on ESPN radio, went down to Orlando on ESPN radio and worked at Walt Disney World, then came back here to work Fox Online for sports and Scout.com at the time. Then I went to the Score 1260, a Yahoo affiliate, and then I started my own company at 26 years old. And on July 20th, and we're talking on July 16th, on July 20th, my company will officially turn 12 years old. And so I've been in and out of Syracuse, and now I have this really happy marriage of I'm in my hometown, but I travel so much that I get to be home and I get to, be with my people and in my community. And it's not just Syracuse. I consider it the state of New York, but we've also branched out that Florida is the second hub of my company, where we've expanded into North Carolina heavily over the last decade. So in this really cool way, I'm home, but we've been up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, got out to people in the West Coast, reached people all over the world. So I've honestly been very spoiled that I think as much as I live here, I also get to experience the world and still get to come back home. So I don't know who has it better than me. And I don't say that in a cocky way. I say that in I'm very thankful to God that I get to see the world, but I get to also, try and help my community, and Binghamton's a part of that.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I mean, it's good to hear your background a little bit more in depth and experience. So I appreciate that very much.
No, absolutely. Well, my final question for you, Annette, I always go food, and the student athletes will tell you this. And Josh had been on the show recently. Eric's been on the show, and obviously had the opportunity to talk with Emily. So I've been spoiled. I'm going to hit you with some food here. I want Annette Acuff to tell me one breakfast, one lunch, one dinner, rest of your life. You have to have the same breakfast, the same lunch, the same dinner. They're 3 separate meals, but these are your meals for the rest of your life. Paint me a picture of what you're eating every day.
Oh, I'd probably go with a bagel, egg sandwich in the morning.
Okay.
For breakfast for sure. I'm a big bagel fan. Fortunately, living in New York, there's plenty of them, so don't run into any issues there. Lunch. That lunch is kind of a tough one. Depending on the day, I would. I'd probably have to say a turkey sandwich. Would probably, be good for the rest of my life. I'll go a little healthier with the turkey. For lunch. Maybe for dinner. If I had to do it for the rest of my life, it would be a grilled chicken salad, I guess. Okay. So I'd go a little on the healthier route, get some extra veggies and greens in there, and kind of balance myself out. So I'm usually pretty much about balance with everything. So that's my go-to is if I can keep myself well balanced, keeps me a lot healthier and sane, and I can do a lot better of a job of coaching.
Well, I've been eating some eggs. I recently had a turkey sandwich for lunch, and I've been eating a lot more salad. So it's nice to know that according to one of the successful coaches here on the broadcast of many, many years, that I'm somehow fitting your regiment, at least of the last 2 weeks. So that's a good thing.
Keep it up. Yeah. It's all about challenging yourself, right?
Right. So
the name of the game for your entire life.
Annette Acuff here, the Bearcat Breakroom, Binghamton head cross-country coach, assistant track and field coach, spending a lot of time speaking on our Olympian, Emily Mackay, who we will see Union Endicott, New York, Binghamton University, all the way to Paris, France for the Olympics, representing the United States of America, and all of the great student athletes that have come through, are coming through, and will come through Binghamton University, who know Annette very well for her many years of being a mentor, a teacher, and a member of probably a lot of the families extended here at Binghamton University with the Bearcats. So, Annette, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you here on the show. I look forward to having you back soon. And thank you so much for painting such an amazing picture, not only of Emily Mackay and who she is and her journey, but of your journey as well, and Binghamton University and the Southern Tier, as well as the quality of student athletes in New York. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you, Dan. I really appreciate you having me. It's always a great opportunity to be able to express, some of the experiences that, I've had here. And, it's been a great experience for me overall. And on one last note, I am going to Paris. So I'm looking very much forward to, watching Emily compete. So Paris is a little more expensive than I was planning on, but I think it'll be worth it. Something tells me in the back of my mind that, like, the thousands of dollars it's costing me to go to Paris in August it's going to be one heck of an experience for sure, and I'll be very excited to watch her compete.
We gotta call Gene Marshall and get you to recruit a couple people in Paris and have this be a write-off. We gotta work on that. So, and I was gonna ask
I'll let you handle that one for me.
So, Gene, I love you, as you know. So, yeah, Gene, I'm gonna owe Gene lunch for the rest of my life if I do that. But with that being said, I did want to ask you if you were going to Paris. So,
yeah. I kind of made the decision a couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago. I was like, okay, it's kind of do or die, here I need to make a decision on if I'm going to go, if I'm going to get tickets. So, but, yeah, I've always wanted to go to Paris too. So, it should be a great experience. I'm not there for, the entire, week, but, I'll get a few days in and certainly be able to have a chance to like watch her compete. So it'll be pretty exciting.
Well, Annette, I can say that I got a good feeling about this trip for you.
Yeah. So do I.
That coming from Annette Acuff. You can watch Emily Mackay represent Binghamton University and the United States in the 2024 Paris Olympics. Safe travels. And you're a tough ticket, Annette. You've been busy running around. So the fact that you gave me some time today, I appreciate that. And like I said before, I look forward to talking with you very soon.
Yeah, no, thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. It was good to get to know you.
You too. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
That coming here from Annette Acuff here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Binghamton University head cross country coach and assistant track and field coach. And of course, they're working with Emily Mackay and so many amazing people that she mentioned, Eric Holt, Dan Schaefer, and so on and so forth over the years. And the incredible talent that is here as well in the state of New York and right in the neighborhood of Binghamton University when we talk about Vestal and a Marathon not being too far away and Johnson City and Endicott and Endwell. So that's awesome. That's music to my ears. So Jerry said she's a very cool Renaissance woman. Yes. Awesome conversation. Happy that we got Annette on. And I want to thank David O'Brien of Binghamton University's Athletic Communications Department who helped me set this up. Him and John Hartrick have done an incredible job in our partnership. We're only a few months into our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, and it has been extremely rewarding for me, and I've gotten a ton out of it. And I hope that you all have too. It's been an incredible experience, and I want to very much thank David O'Brien and John Hartrick for their work because they helped to make this possible. And David working on having Annette here, which, like I said, I told her she's a tough ticket to get. And what I meant by that is with all the success of Emily and everything that's happening, and Annette having gone out to Oregon to see her in the trials, Emily and Annette highly sought after. And the fact that David has helped me have the opportunity to speak with both of them over the last 2 weeks is incredible. And what him and John have done in just a few months, I really appreciate it because it takes a village. And to build up this Binghamton Bearcat community is a team effort. So for Gene Marshall, for John Hartrick, as well as for David O'Brien, and everyone at Binghamton University, the staff, as well as the administration, obviously their president, and having the opportunity to speak with him and the student athletes and coaches means the world to me. So thank you to Binghamton University for all of the effort that you put in the family that we work every day with. Really does mean a lot and to be a part of. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back with the ingredients to success. Once again, extending Wake Up Call because that's what we do here. Under promise, over deliver. From the Heritage Hill Studios, we'll be back right after this. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the taste of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There's a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience, it's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really changed the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allowing customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality, and I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really in large part changed that value system for employees, so they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean-to-cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognize that we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level, is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, under promise, over deliver, as we've had the opportunity to spend some more time with you here this morning, as we typically do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're coming to you from inside of the Heritage Hill Studios, and Heritage Hill on 3149 Sweet Road out in Pompey will bring you out to the country to enjoy Heritage Hill and Palladino Farms. Palladino Farms, right there with Heritage Hill Brew House, so you have the opportunity to have their amazing menu, as well as what I experienced for the first time this past weekend. Speaking on that menu is their Sunday brunch, and of course, getting to also have their wonderful tastes that they have there of the things that they create at their brew house, and to just walk around the grounds and get to see the animals and, you know, see the pigs and see the goats and the donkeys and whatnot. It's just a wonderful experience. It's a great experience for families that are looking for something to do coming into town for the first time ever. And it's a great experience for those that live in central and upstate New York and are wondering, you know, where should I take the kids? Where should I, you know, go on a date? Where should I bring my parents when it comes to, you know, Mother's Day and Father's Day and this and that. And I brought my mom up there for Mother's Day. I brought my dad up there for Father's Day. And I'm so happy that we got to do that. The food was fantastic. And owner Dan Palladino of Heritage Hill, he's the one that was serving. He was literally standing at the end of the buffet line, and he was serving you your food. And those are the type of people that I like to work with. The salt of the earth, the people who are constantly helping their business and working with their staff, close with them, not on some ivory tower far, far away, but literally right there with you in the trenches, working with you and trying to, you know, build up their business with the people that are working for them, trying to build up the community together. So it means a lot to me. It's really important to me. And I just want to shout out Dan Palladino and his entire team for all the work that they put together, including Victoria Matterell and just everybody at Heritage Hill. And of course, they have their newest location at Heritage Hill North, which you'll find on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, New York, our exclusive home for CNS North Stars broadcasts. And that is right at Sweetheart Corner. So make sure you head out there today. And of course, make sure you stay close to our social media to find out the next time we're going to be there with the CNS North Stars for our next on-site, on-location broadcast of Wake Up Call with CNS at Heritage Hill North, our home for all North Stars content on-site, on-location. So, with that being said, it's time for the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the fantastic team at Avicolli's, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, a.k.a. the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road, right down the street from Liverpool High School. And at Avicolli's is where we do all of our Liverpool High School events. So all of our coverage of the Warriors all throughout the year, with coaches, student athletes, as well as administration, all happen on site, on location at Avicolli's. And of course, Avicolli's now is open every day of the week. Starting yesterday, July 15th of 2024, they decided to open on Mondays. So you can now go there Monday through Sunday, weekly, lunch, dinner, and drinks. Of course, if you're going to drink, always drink responsibly, and we appreciate the people at Avicolli's. Today's topic for our ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli's, is differing views, one team. Differing views, one team. Now, when you're on a team, basketball, baseball, soccer, field hockey, volleyball, whatever it may be, when you're on a team, you're never going to have a team where everybody has the same view, right? You're going to have differing views. Even if people have a lot in common, there's going to be some nuances, the just intricate, you know, they see things, they might want the same end goal, right? Everybody wants to win a championship for the most part, but how to get there might be a little bit different. And when you have differing views, but you're one team, essentially what I'm saying is your differences exist, but you have to work together. That you are one team of different individuals. Even if you had identical twins on your team, they're not exactly identical. Even identical twins have different personalities, different little quirks and nuances and things. And, you know, maybe one of them is a really good singer. Maybe one of them is really good at doing impressions. Maybe one of them is really good at basketball. And maybe another one, you know, can't even pick up the basketball and play for 5 seconds, right? So, you know, even identical twins are different. And what am I saying when I'm saying that? Is I'm saying that the world has differing views. Teams have differing views, but we work together toward a common goal of success, right? Of prosperity. And I bring it up because you know the Wake Up Call's tagline is where sports meets life. And sports, it mirrors life in so many ways, hence my tagline. And in the world that we're living in right now, in an election year, and I don't even know how we can say this, but in an assassination attempt, and when I say I don't even know how we can say this, is like I don't want to believe that that's real life, but in an assassination attempt, in a time where prices are ballooned at grocery stores, at a time where the middle class was promised a lot of things, and I don't know if any of those things are coming true. I look at just going to Walt Disney World, and when I worked there, a ticket to get into a park for the day was under $90, and now it's almost double. I mean, to me, that's revolting. Disney doesn't need the money. They claim they need the money. Well, maybe because of some decisions that they made in recent history, they've lost an insane amount of money, but that's not our fault. If Disney makes bad decisions, we shouldn't get punished for your bad decisions, or with any company. And I mean, we've just seen changes, right? We're a country that seems angry. We're a country that loves to fight with each other. We're a country that is just, we've just gotten away from who we are. And so just like I look at a team on a smaller scale, I look at this country on a larger scale, and I say differing views, one team, right? We have differing views, but we are one team. Congress can't get anything done if those with differing views don't want to work as one team. We can't get anything done. We can't. And so I think that the people that suffer the most are those that are on this team trying to work together, and people don't want to work with them. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I don't care if you're liberal or conservative. I don't care if you're black, white, blue, brown, whatever, polka dot, and so on and so forth. I don't care what religion you are. What I care about is how you treat people. I don't care how much money you have. What I care about is how you treat people. And I will sit down at a table of people that are all different than me if they treat people well. You can look just like me, talk just like me, have the same views as me, be the same nationality, same color, same religion. But if you treat me or other people poorly, I don't want to sit with you. See, I don't sit with people that just fit, that cookie cutter stuff, right? You look the same, you talk the same, you blah blah blah. No. That's never been me. I sit with people that respect people. And if I was a closed-minded person and I closed myself off to people of differing views and differing beliefs and different colors and different nationalities and different this and different that, I wouldn't have the closest people that I have. Arguably the greatest blessings that God has given me outside of my blood family, I wouldn't know any of these people if I was closed-minded. If I only looked for people that looked like me, sounded like me, dressed like me, blah, 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 like me, I wouldn't know any of these incredible people. So to me, it is imperative in life to understand that when we have differing views, we are one team. In an election year in 2024, and people get afraid to talk about this, we shouldn't be afraid to talk about it. I think more people need to step forward and talk about reaching across the aisle. Melania Trump, the wife of Donald J. Trump, who is running for president with the Republican Party, she thanked people for reaching across the aisle when it came to asking about her husband. 48 hours after someone tried to, or not even 48 hours after someone tried to assassinate her husband, she was talking about both sides, both parties coming together. And I respect that. Anybody who's not talking about bringing people together, anybody who's going, I'm on this side, you're on that side, we're going to fight with each other, blah, blah, blah. Like that's, tug of war does not help this country grow. Tug of war does not help a team grow. If you had two star basketball players on a team and one's on this extreme and one's on that extreme and they just keep pulling their teammates back and forth, that team's never going to win a championship. And it's the same thing with America. We're never going to grow if we have two extremes fighting with each other to the point where they don't even know what they're fighting about anymore. They just are fighting about the sheer fact that they can't agree with each other because they won't agree. They can't agree with each other because they won't agree with each other because they just can't do that. And to me, I don't live in that world. I don't live in a world of I'm not going to agree with you because I was told not to agree with you, and I can't agree with you even if we agree with each other because I'm on this side and you're on that side and blah, blah, blah. And to me, it's just exhausting. You know, I said a lot in the past few days about what happened over the weekend, and I said that I would treat it the same way if it was Donald J. Trump or Joe Biden. And I think a lot of people took it well. And I think some people may have taken it differently. What I don't understand is I'm sticking up for the sanctity of a human life, and anybody who was hoping for an assassination to be successful, I don't see you and the devil as two different people. I see you as the same. If you applaud and wish and hope for assassinations, I don't see you different than Hitler. I don't see you different than Mussolini. I don't see you different than Kim Jong-un. I mean, tyranny is tyranny. And the irony is calling someone a tyrannical leader and then hoping that that person gets assassinated. So, I mean, I don't stand for people talking poorly about anybody. I might not agree with a candidate. I might not agree with an athlete. I might not agree with a business owner. But when I hear people like, oh, F that guy and I hope she dies, that I'm always like sitting at the table going, hey, let's not say that. I mean, I had a conversation with somebody I love and we were talking about something and they brought something up and they started talking really negatively. And I was like, even though I agree with you that like this person is not necessarily the way that you and I are, I still don't want to talk about them like this. Like, I don't agree with the some of the decisions that they made, but I don't want to speak about somebody like this. And when I do have moments where, you do get caught up in your emotions and you speak, negatively about somebody and it's mean, I always apologize. I always take a step back and go like, I didn't need to call that name. I didn't need to go that far. I didn't need to say that. And I just feel like, doing a sports show and also talking about life, that it's such an easy topic for the ingredients to success to say that differing views, one team is what teams deal with. It's what America is dealing with, right? Differing views, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, independent. But we're one team. We're one country. We're the United States of America, not the divided states of America, but that's what it feels like. But if our name is literally in the title, United, that's the first word. USA stands for United States of America. Well, then let's act like it, right? Let's act like it. States need to respect each other. People need to respect each other. Parties need to respect each other. And if you balk at me saying something like that, I really just don't want to know you, because I'm asking everyone to come together, put your differences aside, and work together toward love and kindness and positivity and prosperity and safety. If you're against me telling Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, and people of different backgrounds, ethnicities, religions, money, blah, 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 to work together, if you're against me asking people to come together and act like a family, then essentially you're telling me you're against positivity, you're against unity, you're against justice, you're against kindness, you're against rationale, you're against humanity. A house divided cannot stand. Hence why America right now is not in good shape, because we're divided. So we're not really standing. And in order for us to stand again, we have to come together. And so that's what I ask people to do. I ask you to do that. I don't ask you to be so divisive anymore. We can't win with differing views not being on the same team. We can have differing views, but I mean, people are not talking to their relatives anymore. People aren't talking to their friends anymore because you're voting for different people. And to me, like, you're literally killing your relationships for most of the time strangers. You're right. You don't know these people that are running for office 9 times out of 10. And, you're willing to ruin the relationships that you have because of, you think this and you think that. And the things that listen, there's a difference between having morals and values and being with someone that doesn't share those with you and you saying, I don't want to be a part of that. But, to have a friend say, like, if you vote for this person, don't tell me, because if you tell me, I'm never going to be your friend again. I've been through a lot of elections, and I remember elections all the way back to Bush and Clinton. And I remember like being in elementary school and feeling some division there when I was like this little kid. So I think, I mean, for as long as I've been alive almost, I have seen divisiveness. I don't think it's good. I think that, we can disagree with each other. I think that we can spend time kind of trying to figure out a common goal, but you have to meet in the middle. A husband and a wife cannot stay together if one is on one side and one is on the other side and nobody compromises and agrees to work together. If the two sides don't compromise, then you get divorced, or you just end up hating each other and you sleep in separate beds, which is not good for anybody. If siblings can't agree with how to take care of their parents when their parents get older, then their parents don't get taken care of. So in any realm of life, when if employees at a restaurant, if this person's supposed to wash the dishes and this person's supposed to be the chef and this person's supposed to run the food and this person's supposed to be the host and this person's supposed to be the server and then the general manager's supposed to oversee them all, if those people don't work as a team, then the restaurant doesn't get the food out on time. Then there's negative attitudes. There's, people are hearing people fight in the kitchen. Things aren't working. It ends up affecting the guest that comes into the restaurant, because if the general manager's fighting with the chef and the chef's fighting with the busboy and the busboy's fighting with the server, then things aren't going to work and tables are going to stay dirty. And it's just going to be I still to this day remember going into a restaurant and hearing the owner scream at somebody in their kitchen. And I remember sitting there going, I don't ever want to come back here. And I don't necessarily think that I ever went back there again, because I just didn't want to be around that type of environment. And it didn't matter who was right and who was wrong. It mattered that somebody was screaming at someone else working for the same business to the point where we can all hear you. Like, I'm trying to enjoy breakfast after church and I'm just listening to this like scream conversation. So you take podcasters interrupting people that they're interviewing to tell them that they're wrong and defending somebody else. And it's like, partiality is a cardinal sin of broadcasting. To me, when have I told you Syracuse is going to win every single game? If I don't think they're going to win it, I tell you that I don't think they're going to win it. It doesn't mean I'm not positive. It doesn't mean I don't love my hometown. It means that I have a job when I turn this microphone on to be impartial. I care about people deeply. And at the same time, I'm impartial. And, because I have to live by my word, right? So if I tell you something and I really don't believe in it, then what does that do to my credibility? So I think we just really need to take the time to realize that this country has differing views, but we are one team. We are the United States of America. There's not different flags with different stars on it for the United States of America. There's 50 states on one flag, 50 stars on one flag. And so if we're going to be united, we need to act as such. And in this election year, and really at any time from here on out, we need to start working together, because if you want this country to start looking safe and good and positive again, well, you need to start doing things that create that atmosphere, because you're not going to get what you want doing the same things you're doing. We've been divisive for a very long time. The last 8 years have been very, very debilitating and exhausting. And I think I know it's time to start loving each other again. I know it's time to start saying we differ, but let's have a conversation about it that doesn't involve screaming and slamming doors. And let's just try to work together. Asking people to work together is one thing. Actually doing it is another. But no team can survive without being one collective unit going in the same direction. Right now, our country is not going in the same direction, and we need to do that. We need to get back to whoever wins the presidency. We need to work together to ask that person, ask that, the legislative branch, the executive branch, the judicial branch to work for the common good. And if we're not working together, we will fail. So we've seen what it's like to fail for many, many years now. Why don't we try success for a little while? I love you all, and I appreciate you all. We're going to take our final step aside and wrap up the show right after this. This has been the Ingredients to Success from Avicolli's, 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. This is Wake Up Call inside the Heritage Hill Studios. Avicolli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicolli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicolli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, your one-stop sports card and hobby card shop. Go out and see them today for basketball, football, baseball, soccer, hockey, all sport, AEW, UFC, Disney, Lorcana, as well as Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon cards while supplies last. Packs, boxes, graded cards, singles, autos, patch cards, RPAs, all that good stuff. And the only store that I know that has every MLB, NBA, and NFL team right there for you with their own box. GG Cards and Breaks, the one-stop shop with the guest service unlike any other. It is home to me. I appreciate all the work of Josh and Anthony, and we look forward to seeing you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. With that being said, we want to thank you for tuning in on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time and beyond that. Big time thanks to those of you on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Subscribe and follow us there. Big time thanks to our incredible partners that you can visit in Central and Upstate New York: Heritage Hill Brewhouse, Heritage Hill North, our exclusive studio partners, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Avicolli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, the snack capital of the world on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, GG Cards and Breaks, Mother's Cupboard, Pizza Man, Great Lakes Honda City, and our newest partners, Brian's Landing in Jamesville and Servomation Refreshments, serving colleges, universities, and your business all throughout the Northeast. Make sure you learn more by searching Servomation. And of course, we're the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins, Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, of the Binghamton University Bearcats. Find them all on youtube.com /wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. The Lemoyne playlist, the BSC Syracuse playlist, and the Binghamton playlist are all there for you on our YouTube channel. You can also catch them on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, Syracuse.bscbobcats.com, and BUBearcats.com. Big time thanks to my incredible guest today, Dyshawn Davis, Annette Acuff, and of course, the Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by Avicolli's, on differing views, but remembering we are one team and that our differences should make us stronger as a family, not divide us. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. From the Heritage Hill Studios, you are amazing. And as always, God bless.